Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm here with Brittany. She is the owner, correct, of Terra's Running Company. We're going to give a good insight look about what she does here in Cleveland, Tennessee. Again, you guys are listening to the Blueprint, where we're going to look at the best minds in the industry when they come to creating businesses. Maybe you have been in the same shoes, maybe you're going through the same situation, or maybe you even have the same questions of sorts. We're all on that journey, or if you've even already made it, a lot of us can relate to how the process is, and it's just always good to delve back into what that process looks like, right? So Brittany, I'm going to let you introduce yourself to the audience, to our listeners, to people who are watching us. Who is Terra's Running Company, and who are you?
Yeah. My name's Brittany Katz. I am the owner of Terra Running Company, which is a retail store, run specialty store here in Cleveland, Tennessee. And we also do race timing and event management. And then I also own Cleveland Coffee and Market, which is a coffee shop located adjacent to the running store.
Oh wow! So best of both worlds, right? And right next to each other. Wow,
Yeah,
that's a great
yeah.
strategy, great location. So tell us, what sparked the idea with Terra's Running Company? How did all of that start? I'm sure it was just a thought process at some point. Take us back to that moment.
Yeah. So I've been a runner since I was a kid. My dad was a runner, so I was always very interested in it, involved in running in high school and college, just on my own as a hobby, and always just saw the benefit of it as a lifestyle, and also the way that running can create community. I was a public school teacher in Atlanta for 4 years. That was where my background is. That's where my education is. But I wanted to do something new. I wanted to do something different. I needed a break from teaching. And so I decided to try a running store. Your education is always something you can come back to, which is what my dad says. I've earned those degrees and those certifications, and that's something I'll always have. But I wanted to do something new. And so I opened a store, and that was in 2015, and it's almost 10 years later, and I'm still at it. So I've really enjoyed this kind of path that I didn't plan on, but it's been very fun and very rewarding.
Wow. So I can tell just based off that quick intro. So you were a teacher, you're a public school teacher. You obviously care about the future of people. You obviously care about people and their community. You care about your community, obviously. Now tell me a little bit, how do you give back to your community? How is it that you
Hmm.
said you host events? You obviously care about, one, health and fitness, two, promoting the economy, because that's what it is. When you're teaching students, you're preparing them for a future. So tell us more about how you like to give back to the community. What are your insights? What do those views look like for you?
Yeah. So Terra Running Company, really, philanthropy is part of our DNA. Everything we do has a give back aspect to it. And I attribute our continued success here in Cleveland to the engagement that we have with the community. And so that any decision moving forward always has an aspect of give back to it. And that's more than just donations, more than just monetary donations or shoes. My biggest asset is my time. I'm pulled in a lot of different directions, but I think it's really important for people to see the face of Terra Running Company giving back to the community. So I try to give my time back to organizations that I feel passionate about here in Cleveland. I'm currently the president of the board of the Cleveland Bradley Chamber of Commerce. I'm the vice president of the board of Main Street Cleveland. I've been on some other nonprofit boards, and then I try really hard to donate my time where I can. And I also want Terra Running Company to be the connectors in our community. We try to come up with events and ways for other people to connect with local nonprofits so they can also give back their time. So one of my favorite, most recent ways we've done that is we've had a monthly walk at the SPCA of Bradley County, where we bring our runners and our community members and our friends from Terra Running to the SPCA to walk the dogs for an hour. And just that time donation, that we have connected community members with the nonprofit and actually given them a tangible way to connect and give back, has been really rewarding. So, like I said, it's part of our DNA. Everything we do has a philanthropy aspect to it, and I try to think just beyond just monetary and you know merchandise donations to how can we authentically get involved in things that we as a team at Terra Running are passionate about, but then also show the community that we're here to stay. And when they support us, they're supporting these initiatives that we're part of.
Understood. Wow. So now here it brings me to my next question. With there being so many running shoes companies, right? Or even coffee shops. You mentioned coffee shops. How do you really stand out against the competition? I mean, I feel like it's such a saturated market when it comes to, running merchandise or, even coffee shops. I'm assuming based off your last response that community networking is a big plus for you and how you get above the competition. But do you want to add anything to that? How is it that you stand out so much?
Yeah. We try to stand out with our human connections, our customer service, and the community that we create here in the coffee shop, the running store, at the events that we do. It's easy to buy almost anything we sell online and have it at your doorstep the next day. So, what makes people get in their car and drive to us? It's our people. It's the human interaction they're going to get. It's the questions that they can ask us, the answers that we can get, the expertise we can provide. It's the community that we create. They meet their friends here and go for a run, or they meet at the coffee shop and have a Bible study. Those are things that you'll never be able to get online or somewhere that isn't a physical location. And so we try to make our human interactions the thing that makes us different. And that includes customer service, that includes community. That's something that can.
I agree. With your customer, well, for example, for your customer service, I heard that you have like treadmills in your store just to test out those shoes, or you'll have like customers kind of run outside the store just to see how they feel and things like that. Could you give me some
Mm-hmm,
examples? Not only that, because you're not just selling shoes, right? Or a cup of
mm-hmm,
coffee. To a point, you're selling an experience. You're
mm-hmm.
selling you're selling that connection, right? And that's exactly what you just said there about your community. And you even mentioned Bible studies. Tell me some of the tactics you use when it comes to connecting with your customers, and then tell me, just because you mentioned Bible studies, do you do you kind of merge your beliefs and religion with your business, or how important is that to you? How do you structure that?
So as far as the customer experience in the running store goes, we carry 8 different brands of shoes, all the top models. We have over 100 models of shoes. And then we have access to every shoe that is in stock from every brand that we carry. And so there really isn't anything that you can't get from us. We also provide, a fit process. So everyone who works in Terra Running Company is trained to help fit people for shoes. We watch them walk without any shoes on. We measure their feet. We talk to them about their injuries, about their goals, about what they're going to be using these shoes for. And then we pick out shoes based on their needs for them to try. You can run in the shoes on the sidewalk. You can run in the shoes, jog into the coffee shop in the shoes. And then we also have a 30-day return policy. And so our goal is to get you in the equipment with the right information to have an active lifestyle successfully. So it's more than just the shoes, it's more than just the purchase. We want to be there as your resource along the entire way. And then we provide events as well. We have yoga in the store. We have a group run every Monday night that's completely free. We want to provide a space for you to nurture that active lifestyle. And then in the coffee shop, we often have an event. We have trivia. We have other ways to get people in the door for them to find our space, to get to know our baristas. And then we just provide that space for people to have any kind of, meeting that they want. We don't put on any Bible studies or kind of offer any structure around that. But I think having the space to do that and to meet with people and to get out and read and to get out and meet your friends and to have those face-to-face interactions is really important. And so, especially after COVID, we have seen that these third places, these places that are not home or work, especially for people who work remotely, they don't even have a work. So that's the second place for them that's not their home is super important in keeping people connected with one another and having them feel plugged into their community.
Wow. So again, we continue with selling the experience, but then you also have a safe space
Mm-hmm.
just for the community, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so tell me, when you first started, from teacher to business owner, what would you say was the most, what's the word? The biggest obstacle for you? What was the biggest challenge you faced when you first started off in the business world? And then how did you overcome those moments of doubt? I'm sure you had moments
Mm-hmm.
of doubt. So what was the biggest obstacle, and then how did you get over it?
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge I faced at the beginning and I continue to face is just my gaps in knowledge and confidence around different aspects of the business. Whether it's where to put my marketing dollars, I have no marketing degree. Whether it's the overwhelming task of bookkeeping and paying the bills, hiring, interviewing, like all of these aspects of the business are pretty different areas of expertise. And as a small business owner, you do all of them. That's been a challenge, and it continues to be a challenge as the business grows. And I overcome it by trial and error, doing my best, and surrounding myself with knowledgeable, trustworthy people. I'm not afraid to hire someone who I know is better at something than me, and then trust them to do it well. So that's a challenge that I think we'll all face, that imposter syndrome of feeling like you're not knowledgeable enough to be doing what you're asked to do and doing it anyway. Figuring it out, learning from your mistakes, and not being afraid to get it wrong in order to find a way to get it right.
But build a team and don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And then, so in this process, right, you said that, trial and error, you've had to learn how to do things. What would you say the biggest change in your characteristic? It could be your personality, just the way you hold yourself. What is that biggest change that you realize that you
Mm-hmm.
kind of grew into?
Yeah. I think it has made me see that I can have an impact right where I am. You don't have to be, have a big job with a big name in order to positively affect the people around you all the time. I have a really great staff of 10 to 12 people. I work with 20 to 30 race directors on an annual basis. I'm involved in these local organizations of other business owners and business leaders, and that is my sphere of influence. And I am able to have a positive impact on the people around me right where I am. And that has been a really good goal and a responsibility that I feel like we can translate to anyone's life. Your sphere of influence relies on you. And so how can you positively impact them every day?
And then how important is feedback for you in the
Mm-hmm.
company? I'm sure you've reinvested. One, you didn't do this overnight. When it comes to selling an experience, selling a safe space, giving back to the community, how did that all start off? Do you gather feedback of some sort, and then how do you reinvest that into your company?
Yeah, so I think the biggest point of feedback is customer feedback, whether it's reviews online, it's just anecdotal evidence from customers, it's returning customers. They tell us that they care about us being here and they support us through returning purchases. So I take a look at that, all that information all the time. Choose to reinvest based on that information. And I also try to keep up with the industry. In the running industry, I go to trade shows and I follow other stores, and I'm involved in professional organizations. And so we follow the trends, and that kind of informs where we reinvest also. We want to be on the cutting edge of the industry. Instead of just responding to feedback, we want to be bringing in the brands that are going to be big next year. And I do that by making sure that I'm in touch with the industry as it moves forward.
That's super important right there. I like that how you just touched on that point about being on the ball, being ahead of the curve. And then, so do you have anything big coming up for Terra's company? Any big future like events or something that's going
Mm-hmm.
to change that for you? Since you're watching the trends so closely, I'm sure there's got to be something that's going to kick off soon.
Yeah. We go to the running event, which is an industry trade show every winter. And so I'm really excited to go there again this November. I'm in Texas and kind of see what's coming, see the up and coming brands. We have a new brand that we're launching with in September called Hilo, which is really trying to disrupt the run specialty industry, push sustainability, bring to light the wastefulness of some of the production processes in the shoe industry. And we're excited to be part of that. We're going to launch them in September here at Terra Running. We're the first store in Tennessee to have this brand. And they're really on the cutting edge of kind of moving the industry forward. And so we want to be part of that. And in addition, I'm really excited for another super busy fall with a lot of races. We put on races, we manage them. And so we have a Cowpea 5K in Charleston, Tennessee in September. And we put on the Cleveland Half Marathon and 5K in October. And then in addition to that, we have 20 other races with local organizations that are fundraisers for their organizations all over the area this fall. And so that's a great way for us to literally be in touch with the runners where they are. We are at the event providing excellent race timing and management services. And it's really wonderful to see that this is the busiest race season we've had since COVID. When COVID hit a couple years ago, our store was closed down for a few weeks, but the race timing aspect of the business was completely gone. there were no events, and we lost that entire kind of arm of the business. And 3, 4 years later, I'm so excited that this is the busiest race season we will have had ever, even since before COVID. So it's nice to see that coming back. It's nice to see people engaging in running events again, organizations willing to invest in those events. And yeah, it's going to be a busy fall, and we're excited about it.
Then what would be your number one piece of advice for somebody that started off in your exact same shoes, wanting to start a business? It doesn't have to be coffee shops
Mm-hmm.
or running merchandise, but just in general, your number one piece of advice you would give to somebody starting a business.
Mm-hmm. Um, don't be afraid to try things that you're not good at and figure it out. I think that's something that I have learned maybe the hard way by trial and error. But if I never tried, I wouldn't have known how to do it the right way or the way that's working now. There doesn't even have to be a right way. Every process we've created here in the running store and the coffee shop, from how we order to how we receive things to special orders to purchasing and paying and scheduling. I've made it all up. And you have to just be willing to make it up, see if it works, take honest feedback, and change or stick with it moving forward, knowing that you don't always get it right the first time. And I think that's something that keeps people from trying new things is their fear of failure. But if you don't fail, you don't learn. And I have failed in lots of different ways. We've had things fall through the cracks and, inefficient processes. But if we didn't do it that way, we wouldn't have the better way now. And you can translate that to anything. I mean, that has nothing to do with shoes or coffee. It's just being willing to try it out, fail, and change going forward.
I think a wonderful piece of advice right there. It just kind of goes back to don't be afraid to build the team and don't be afraid to fail. So I like it. I like that response for sure. And is there anything you want to talk to the public, basically, about your company, about your coffee shops, anything in regards that you would want to stand? What is like your motto that you want to tell people? I guess you have a
Yeah.
free, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes to just say whatever you'd like that represents you.
Yeah. Let me take this opportunity to get on my soapbox, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think the importance of supporting small businesses cannot be overstated. Local areas are strong and diverse and exciting and great places to live because of those small businesses. When you go to a new place for the weekend, you don't go to the Target, you don't go to their Walmart, right? You want to find their unique local bookstore and coffee shop and running store and their outdoor store. And you want to find those independent local businesses. That's what gives it flavor. That's what gives it character. And if we don't support those through our money and through our purchases and through physically going to those places, they won't be there anymore. It's as simple as that. And so I can't overstate the importance of supporting our small and local independent businesses. And there is immediate payback, right? Those businesses do well and they hire more people and they bring in more merchandise and they expand and they invest right there where you live. And so whether it's coffee, running, or whatever smaller independent business you're thinking of when I say this, support them because it has big payoff and it's a real people putting their actual money and careers into these businesses. And yeah, I feel very strongly about the importance of them for our local economy. And so keep supporting them and they'll keep making your hometowns vibrant and exciting and great places that you want to live.
And I think you said the key word right there. It'll boost your economy, your local
Absolutely.
economy. I mean, it's where you live, it's where you thrive, and that's what you want. And if anyone's
Absolutely.
going to give back to their community, it's especially going to be somebody like you. Not to crap on any big corporate business, but
Right.
you would definitely care a lot more about the community than other people. So
Yeah. I would like to think
love
so,
that.
but yes.
And is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to? Anybody on your team? Anybody that you
Uh-huh.
really want to give thanks and show your love out and support to?
Yeah. I mean, my team is my staff is the reason I can do any of this. Anytime I'm not in the store, it's because someone is in the store providing excellent customer service so I can go do other stuff. So I can be on podcasts and serve on boards and walk the dogs at the SPCA. So my staff in the running store and the coffee shop and my manager Tiff is the legs that do all of the cool ideas I come up with. So I appreciate them very much. And if you come in the store, learn their names, say hello to them, and know that they're a huge part of what we do here.
And then how can our community reach out and connect with you? Somebody who's just listening in, or hasn't heard about Terra's Running Company, where are you located and what are your social medias?
Yeah. So we are located right in the heart of downtown Cleveland, across from the courthouse on the corner of Ocoee and First Street. Terra Running Company is on Ocoee Street, and then Cleveland Coffee and Market is kind of behind Terra Running Company, and the entrance is on First Street. So if you've ever been downtown, you will see us right across from the courthouse. And then find us online. We have a great online store. You can shop with us from anywhere at any time. We have all of our inventory on there and then everything we can get for you. So if you want to support us, but you can't make it in or you don't live here, go to Terra Running, Terra running.com. And then you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And then we also have a podcast called The Terra Girls that you can find us online, Terra Running.
And who are the Terra Running Girls? It's you and who else?
It's me and my manager, Tiff. We're the Terra Girls.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for this interview. Is there anything else you'd like to add for me or anything you want to say?
That's all. Yeah, thank you so much for having me and letting me talk a little bit about the business and stand on my soapbox just for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for accepting an invitation. It's been a wonderful insight, especially just making that transition. I mean, it's never like you said, you heard it here, everyone, don't be afraid to fail. Just and I think that goes to show also with last week's interview, that same topic came up is don't be afraid to fail. I mean, the more you fail is the more you're going to get ahead of the game. Stay on top of trends. Just a nice recap right there. Give back to your community, love your people, and support your network that's with you. That's everything I pulled from this interview. And it's just been an amazing insight. So thank you so much, Brittany. Remember, guys, this is the blueprint. Stay tuned for next week's interview. We're going to have Chattanooga Whiskey come on here, and they're going to be talking with us about their entrepreneurship and how they went forward in Chattanooga. So thank you so much. Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Bye.